Hello and welcome to my project for Computer Science Independent Study Fall 2021. What I've made is a recreation of the famous 1994 Nintendo game Super Metroid, with Unity and C#. I'm going to first show some gameplay and then show some elements and code as to how the game was made. Starting off, we have a pretty basic menu of Start, Quit Game. In the first area, you can kind of give an idea of what movement looks like. There's some enemies that do damage to me, and there are some items that I can collect through the game, such as the Morph Ball. Items like these will help me traverse through the world and get better at defeating enemies. The Morph Ball specifically allows me to go through tight spaces that I wouldn't have been able to before. So if I were to come here before getting the item, I wouldn't have been able to do so. And now that I have the Morph Ball, I can. Some interesting effects of the game are parallax scrolling, where there is a kind of background that moves at a different rate than the foreground. So you see this blue background in the back is kind of what that is. And then there's also effects like fog to give a more better effective atmosphere. Moving on, I have a choice between a couple doors. However, I cannot access the top one because I don't have missiles. So I can go to the bottom one. Here's some more enemies. I can actually kill them and get some energy from them, and I have 99 again. And here I'm going to collect another important item, which is the missile. Now I can open think doors. I would need high jump boots to get up over there, which I cannot do so yet, so I'm going to try to collect them. Now I can access this area over here. The high jump boosts just give a higher acceleration to my jump while I hold it, which allows me to go to higher spaces. I'm going to go over here and collect a secret item, which is just more missiles. So now I have a max capacity in 10 instead of 5. Moving on, I'm going to go to the same vertical hallway that I was in before. I cannot get up there because I need to freeze these enemies and I don't have the ice beam yet, so I'm going to try to collect that. If I traverse over here, I can get the ice beam. Now I can freeze enemies, that's so. They won't do any damage to me, but I can still kill them. However, they're gonna go back to normal after about 5 seconds or so. Now, here's a little challenge I have, which is across a bridge using the ice beam. I've now collected an energy tank, which gives me 200 more energy. And now I can go to the next area. Now, this is supposed to be the end of the game. It just says, you win. And I get to collect some super missiles. Now, ideally this is the end of the game, however, I included kind of a little secret for where the game would continue. This is the same area I was in before. I can open the green doors with super missiles, and then access the new area. Here I can fight the wave beam. This will actually allow me to shoot through walls, which is quite helpful for attacking enemies without getting in danger. And here is supposedly where the game would continue if I were to continue building it. So that's all I have to show for gameplay. Now to show some scripts, I have a few that I can show, such as door animations. This is highly complicated based on which direction the door is facing, but it basically does an animation that gives the illusion that the door is kind of part of the same world as the one you're moving to. Then here are some enemy scripts. This one is a bit complicated because it requires rotating an enemy when it reaches the edge of a platform. Other ones are quite simple. This one actually utilizes a cosine wave to move in a wave-like motion. There's also the game manager script, which keeps track of all information across all scenes. There's also basic stuff like item, music player, parallax scrolling to allow the background to move at a different rate than the foreground. There's also some scripts on what items a player has at a given time. This one deals with player movement. Basically, what physics will occur when a player moves in a certain direction, or jumps, or anything like that. This one deals with shooting, the direction that projectiles are fired in. This is just projectile. And then there's also some text scripts which don't really do much, and are just meant to script the text that appears when I collect an item. Something else that is interesting is the animator. Now, what's interesting about the animator is that I basically have this huge map of nodes that connect to each other based on what the player is doing at any given time. So it'll change based on whether the player's running, which direction they're facing, what buttons they're holding, whether they're jumping, and things like that. And basically, any animation is supposed to be able to connect to any other animation. This is highly complicated, but this is the only way to get the actual sprite to transform in the correct manner. Other interesting things are the tile palette, which I use to kind of draw the maps, like this. And then there's also just items like the doors. There's also backgrounds. A lot of things that I had to import to use into the game. But that's pretty much all for the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.